Hello and welcome back to another Ashes of Creation video. In today's video we're going to be going over everything you need to know when starting an Ashes of Creation account. Once the game is fully available and fully released, you're not going to want to be going into it blind. And so in this video I'm going to be going over everything you need to consider when creating your first Ashes of Creation character. To start off with, you need to decide what race you're going to be. Each race is going to have different base stats and appearances and will have different starting locations within the world. Now, we haven't been told exactly what differences there will be in their base stats, and I'll be creating a video on that as soon as the information is available, but let's go over the basics for each race. So each race is split into two types, and the first race is humans, and you've got the Kalar humans that are all about order and civilization, and they're like your classic humans, and you've got the Vaelu, which are more desert dwelling, trading humans. The second race are the elves, the Empyrean elves, and you have the Empyrean and the Pyrae, and the Empyrean are more like imperial, pride, culture, kind of a Roman aesthetic, whereas the Pyrae are all about nature, balance and fury, more of the kind of vibe you might get in Tolkien's elves. After this we have the Kivek orcs, and these are split into the Renkai and the Vek. The Renkai are all about honour, power and tranquility and staying centred, and they're more of a kind of meditative Zen Buddhist type species. Whereas the Vek are far more spiritual in terms of thinking about the stars and telling the future and fate and purpose. After this we have the Dungeon-Cal dwarves, which are split into the Dunir and the Nakua. The Dunir are your traditional kind of dwarves. They're stoic, tradition and forge, and they love to craft, and they will often dwell in mountains, whereas the Nakua are all about family, freedom and courage. They're far more likely to be a beach dwelling, and they're kind of inspired by a Hawaii type aesthetic. So you've chosen your race, and now you have to choose your class. Now at the beginning this is going to be very easy. There are 8 different classes to pick from, and these are the Bard, the Cleric, the Fighter, the Mage, the Ranger, the Rogue, the Summoner and the Tank. So very standard kind of fantasy RPG choices for you to pick in terms of your class. However, once you get to a certain level, you will have to augment that class into a secondary class by picking one of these types again as your secondary archetype. And these could change your class completely. So for example, if you combine a fighter and a rogue, you have the Shadow Blade. If you were to combine a summoner with a mage, you would have a Spellmancer. If you were to combine a tank with a cleric, you would get a paladin. And these are going to completely change the way you play the game. Now, your primary class is going to be all of the abilities you get and the way your stats will continue to level up. The secondary class will not give you extra abilities, but they will augment the abilities of your primary class. So for example, if you combine a tank as your primary and a cleric as your secondary and you become a paladin, your tank's primary abilities such as dragging a unit towards you will be augmented with clerical abilities, so it might heal you or cause the target to take more damage from other units. On the other hand, if you were to combine a cleric as your primary and have your tank as your secondary and be an apostle, what you would be causing, for example, is you'd be doing clerical abilities that would be causing healing or causing enemy units to take more damage, but might be giving you extra health buffs or your teammates extra health buffs, or might be causing enemies to be more drawn to be attacked to you rather than your allies. So you've decided on your race, you've decided on your primary and secondary classes, and now you have to decide on what you want your profession to be in the game, and you have a few different choices. You can either become an adventurer, or you can create a business. And because being an adventurer is fairly standard, all of you will have done it in RPGs before. I won't be going too deep into that. You know, you're going to go on quests, you're going to get loot, you're going to sell the loot, and that's going to be your profession. But the business is very unique and has a lot more to go into, so that's what we're going to go into now. So if you have a business, you have 3 different artisan classes to choose from, and these are gathering, processing and crafting. The gathering profession includes things like farming, fishing, herbalism, lumberjacking, mining and taming. The processing profession includes things like animal husbandry and smelting. while the crafting profession includes things like alchemy, armor smithing, blacksmithing, carpentry, cooking, jewel crafting, scribing, shipbuilding, siege weapons, and weaponsmithing. As you level up in these different artisan chains, you'll be able to create legendary items within the world and potentially even become one of the best crafters or gatherers or processors on the server. As well as this, you could decide to create a business that didn't actually involve you crafting, processing, or gathering anything, but instead traded goods from one region of the realm to the other, where the prices are different depending on the rarity of that good. So for example, in an area where lumber was very common, you could buy from someone there, and you could take it to an area where lumber was very rare and sell it for a profit. Finally, if you're starting a business, you'll need to decide where you're going to set up shop. Are you going to have a market stall, or are you going to have a freehold? This will change how you deal in the game, and also depending on how movable your resources are. You may also decide to send caravans if you're selling bulk goods between different nodes. So you have your race, you have your primary and secondary classes, you have your profession, and now you need to decide what kind of node type you want to be starting in. There are 4 different node types that you can have, and I'll talk about them now. So the first kind of node type is an economic node, and this is a node which is focused on trading and markets and the economy, and it will become an economic node if players are focusing on gathering and artisan skills. The second kind of node is a scientific node, and this kind of node is more focused on crafting recipes and technology, and it will advance to a scientific node if people in the area are doing lots of crafting. The third kind of node is the militaristic node, and this kind of node will have more militaristic quests, will have more army abilities, siege abilities, things like that, and a node will become a militaristic node if players in the area are doing lots of combat. The final kind of node is a divine node, and this kind of node is more focused on magic and maybe the world quests and things like that. And magic nodes will appear if players in the area are doing magic. Now, as I said, your actions in an area will cause the node to level up in different ways, and there will be ways for you to reset the development of your nodes, and there will be ways for you to reset the development of your nodes if that is what you want. As well as this, you can always change from one node to another if it is not the kind of node that you wish to be in. You have to decide on 2 other things. Are you going to join a religion, and are you going to join a guild? And I would suggest heavily that you say yes to both of these things. Even if from a role-playing perspective you might decide that your character is more of a solo type, there are just so many benefits to joining a religion or a guild. You just get extra abilities, and you get extra buffs, and you get extra perks, extra quests. You're going to have a community of players around you that are going to be more willing to help you out. You're going to meet new people. I just don't see what the downside is. You also get some awesome role-playing options if you're playing in a religion. So for example, if you wanted to play in a religion but you didn't want to ally yourself with any one religious type, they have these things in Ashes of Creation. I forget what the name is off the top of my head, but they're kind of like exorcists in the world of Verra, and they're not aligned to any one particular god. They represent all of the 7, and they get sent out to deal with the Ancient Ones before the Ancient Ones kind of become rooted and become a massive issue that requires a large raid party. They'll send out one or a few of these individuals to go deal with the Ancient Ones before they're a massive threat, which is just like an awesome role-playing experience. That's just my opinion. Anyways, that is absolutely everything that you could possibly need to know when creating your character for Ashes of Creation. It's all the basics that you need to think about. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Have an amazing day, and thank you.